In terms of trying to understand the food system in South Africa, I think what has been shown today around the Western Cape, around Cape Town, but also around South Africa, is that we're in a moment of crisis. Our food system and the way in which policy, the way in which government and a whole set of actors respond to the food system, in my view, is flawed. And why I say that is that we still believe the food system can be solved by growing more food and by manipulating prices. And actually what I think is that we need to solve the country's food system in the country's cities. Because the city changes how the wider food system works, but also it's how the city and how the city functions, infrastructure, access to energy, the quality of water, the cost of energy, the time taken in transport. That is what is determining what people eat, as well as the economic opportunity. It's not about how much food is available. For me, across the country, there's more than enough food available in the spaza shops, in the wealthy Woolworths, in the various different areas. It's actually what is informing how people decide what they're going to eat. And that decision is about infrastructure, and it's about what cities do, and that is what is changing the food system. So for me, what the country needs to do is give cities far greater authority to be far more proactive in the food space.
There's a wide perception, certainly in South Africa, that local government doesn't have a food mandate. So when we put the City of Cape Town's food systems program together, what we did is we mapped all the mandates across city departments. It was water, electricity, health, social services, etc., to see how they intersect with the food system, and found that there were over 40 intersecting mandates, which demonstrates that there are many mandates and definitely a food mandate. And so building on that, we developed a program structured around 6 themes, and they included things like governance and food environments and health, and unpacked activities under those, and we've been running with that now for almost 5 years. What have we achieved in those 5 years? We have a very, very successful, from a governance perspective, food systems working group that convenes for knowledge sharing and coordination and support, etc. And that has built knowledge throughout the city. We have external partners as well. And so there are great relationships that have been built internally and externally. And I'm looking really forward to seeing how that partnership, that broader partnership, takes the next step. Thank you.
Right, well, in the last few years, there's been a real surge in interest in urban food systems and urban food security at the global level. So last year, I was leading the high-level panel of experts report on urban and peri-urban food systems. And the idea of that was to try and set an evidence base for understanding the challenge of urban food security and the food system, and try to think of the kinds of solutions. And so what we did was we took kind of all of the best practice around the world and tried to accumulate it in one spot. So there's been a number of city networks operating, trying to solve the problem. Local governments around the world are resolving this. And I think one of the big trends we're seeing is an interest in thinking about this holistically, thinking about it as a system of systems, thinking about how the urban system interacts with the food system, interacts with wider systems. And City of Cape Town has really been a leader in this. So one of the things the City of Cape Town did a few years ago was actually mapping out the mandates of the city, thinking about all the jobs that the city has already that are addressing the food system. And that's a really important point, because globally there's still a sense that food security and food systems are something that sits at the national level, sits at the provincial level. And the work of the City of Cape Town has really illustrated just how many roles local government have to change the food system.
So the importance of good nutrition is well established now. We know that children who are fed well and who receive good nutrition grow up to do better at school. They are retained in school. They perform better at school itself. So in terms of school achievement, they have higher odds of good earnings, of productivity. So the impact on the economy is huge from good nutrition. And in fact, good nutrition starts before conception, because mothers who were undernourished or had undernutrition as teenagers are more likely to give birth to children who have low birth weight. And that has a whole lot of other ripple effects on the health outcomes of that particular child, which includes stunting, increased mobility, so those children will get sick a lot, and so on. And that then ties to their life chances in terms of later participation in the job market, in the economy, productivity, earnings, and so on. So it's well established that good nutrition is extremely important, not just for the child and that household, but for the economy and for society as a whole.
Why is it important for city to expand and increase the food system work? It's because it will help the communities to improve the nutrition available to the community, also to alleviate the poverty that the community are suffering from, also to increase knowledge in the community so that people are aware of what they are eating. So also it builds up to how can the city do that by changing policies, trade policies, allowing people to be able to open stores, and also decreasing the tariffs and also the processes of trying to open stores and grow food. So if we enable the community to be able to produce their own food, own healthy food, regulate the food that's available in the communities, in the spaza shops, and so I think that's why it is important. Also to increase to make people aware of the nutrition that people should be eating.